Joining us now, former acting vice chief of the National Guard Bureau, Major General Randy Manner. Major General, thank you so much for being with us. And at the moment, it's still unclear whether the National Guard will be used in this immigration operation in Chicago. But from your experience, would it make sense for the Trump administration to send the National Guard in to assist with an immigration crackdown or to even quell protests that might result?
The National Guard is not there to be political pawns the way that they were in the District of Columbia. This is not a military operation. At most, this is a law enforcement operation. The president insists on using our National Guardsmen armed with heavily armed vehicles as photo ops in the district. It's not appropriate for this mission. It should absolutely not be used, and we should not have the young men and women doing this. The National Guard Bureau right now is trying to resource what the requirements might be for something for Chicago for next week. So they're scrambling. It's not, as you can imagine, decisions apparently have not yet been made, but it takes a lot of planning before those decisions are made. And that's what's ongoing right now.
I want to play some comments from President Trump's border czar, Tom Homan, this morning about the pushback against these immigration crackdowns. Let's listen to that.
So when you get pushback as you head into Chicago from people like Mayor Johnson, what's your message to the mayor?
Get out of the way, because we're going to do it. If he's not going to do it, President Trump's going to do it. I would think he'd be shoulder to shoulder with us, but it's disgusting that he's not. But we're going to be there anyway. So if you don't want to help, get out of the way. We'll do it.
So first, sir, your reaction to that?
That sounds like a dictator right there. That sounds like someone is imposing the will of a dictator on the duly elected individuals from a state. This is all about states' rights, and he is trampling them. It should be just a total affront to every American, whether you are in Illinois or you are in Texas. The idea that the president is ignoring the wishes of a governor to achieve his own personal objectives is appalling.
So is it within the purview of the National Guard to be deployed to the streets of our cities in order to assist in these kind of operations? And what kind of training do they receive? I know you alluded to it, but what kind of training do these National Guardsmen and women receive that may make them equipped to deal with this particular scenario?
In our history, there have been only a small number of situations where the president has moved a National Guard into an area against the will of the governor. And we know that whether that was in Alabama or Mississippi back in the 60s, it's a very small number of these situations. It is a backup. It is rarely invoked. Remember that the National Guard is the strategic reserve of the United States to be able to defend our country overseas. And it's an asset that is available to the governor in the case of disaster recovery, whether that means forest fires, earthquakes, tornadoes, hurricanes. And then, of course, in a very distant last place would be to back up law enforcement officers in being able to carry out what they are doing. The president is breaking not only not within the guardrails of previous administrations, he is crushing and destroying the guardrails of the proper use of our military. It is not appropriate that our young men and women be put into American cities to be occupying them and to be intimidating the local population. They are not trained for it, whereas law enforcement officers receive 4 to 6 months of training to be a qualified officer. Our young men and women receive single-digit hours, maybe 10 hours, 20 hours, the very, very most, literally before they go into the situation. They are not qualified to do this mission. They are excellent at fighting the enemy and destroying the enemy. Last time I checked, we don't have the enemy in the streets of Washington, Chicago, or Los Angeles, or for that matter, any city, whether it's red or blue. There are no enemies within. We've got to stop the use of the military in the way that the administration is presently doing it.